Hello students, welcome to the Rapid Revision Route. Now in this video, we are going to quickly revise the last topic of our Rapid Revision Route. Returns. Yes, returns are statements in which you are going to furnish the details of what the transaction are, what the supplies are you have made in the particular tax period. Now coming toward the point, in this many sections are there, but the major sections are 37, 38, 39, 44 and 45. Yes, this section we are going to revise it. Coming towards the first one, section number 37, GSTR1. Now in GSTR1, we are going to furnish the details of all the outward supply made by a registered person. Yes, every registered person including the CTP is required to furnish the outward supply details in GSTR1. And the due date for the same is, if you follow the monthly scheme, it will be 11th day of the succeeding month. As soon as the month is over, the next month 11th day, up to that day you can submit the GSTR1. And when you are following the QRMP scheme, yes, when you are following the QRMP scheme, in this QRMP scheme, the date is 13th day of the month succeeding the quarter. When the quarter will end, after that day, after that quarter end, the next month, 13th day of the next month succeeding such a quarter, say April, May, June, then date will be 13th July. So this will be the due date in case of GSTR 1. In case of GSTR 1. Now, coming towards section number 38, GSTR 2 and 2B. In GSTR 2 and 2B, you will get the details of the inward supply and the ITC. And these are not a type of furnished returns. These are a auto-generated statement on the basis of details of GSTR 1. Yes, these are automatic generated statement. Read-only statement. Just the recipient is going to read this. Oh, this inward supplies we have made in the particular tax period, and this is the ITC details. Coming towards section number 39, GSTR 3B, most important return of the taxpayer tax period. GSTR 3B, along with this GSTR 3B, you are going to submit the payment of tax also. In GSTR 3B, you are going to furnish the return, and every registered person, including the CTP, is required to file GSTR 3B. So what are the due dates? If you are following the monthly scheme, then 20th of the month. As soon as the month is over, next month 20th. Say when the April month we are talking about, its due date will be 20th May. Up till that day, you are required to file the GSTR 3B. And when you are following the QRMP scheme, the month succeeding to the quarter, when the quarter will end, the succeeding month, 22nd day or 24th day, as the case may be, irrespective of that state in which it is applicable. Some states are giving the due date as 22 and some states at 24. You can see the states in your module itself. So these are the things: due date 22nd or 24th of the month succeeding the quarter. Now, GSTR 9, section number 44. This is an annual return and the due date is 31st December of the next financial year. But annual return is not required to be filed by CTP, NRTP, and input service distributor and the person who are deducting tax or collecting tax under section 51 and 52. Now, last return, GSTR 10, section number 45. In GSTR 10, it is called as the final return. It means full and final settlement of the taxpayer with the department. Now, this return is to be filed, required to be filed when there is an order of cancellation of registration. In that case, the due date will be within 3 months of the later of the date of cancellation or the order of cancellation, date of order of cancellation, whichever will be later from that day up to 3 months, you should file GSTR 10 final return. Sir, nil return required to be filed? Yes, nil return required to be filed. And one benefit for the nil return, that you can file the nil return through SMS also. Yes. Now, when we are talking about GSTR 3B and GSTR 1, there are some exceptions. These people are not required to be filed GSTR 1 and 3B. Yes, they are not required to file GSTR 1 and 3B, but they have their own returns. For example, first one, composition scheme. In case of composition scheme, what are their returns? They are not required to file GSTR 1 and 3B, but they are required to file GST CMP 08 and GSTR 4. GST CMP 08, composition taxable person. Yes, in the composition scheme, GST CMP 08 is required to be filed every quarter. Yes, every quarter you are required to file GST CMP 08 and the due date is the 18th month of the month succeeding the quarter. As soon as the quarter will end, the next month 18th day. Up till that, you should file the GST CMP 08, and GSTR 4 will be the annual return for like GST composition taxpayer. Sir, what will be the due date? 30th April of the end of the financial year. When the financial year ended, after that 30 April. Yes, after that 30th April. So this is the case of composition. Now NRTP. In case of NRTP, GSTR 5. And the due dates in front of you. You can see the due date itself. No requirement of remembering it. Yes. When talking about TDS and TCS person required to deduct tax at source, or person required to collect tax at source. Now these returns I have already discussed in the TDS TCS chapter. You can refer that video for its due dates. Yes, coming towards QRMP, quarterly return monthly payment. The name itself says that you have to file return quarterly, but payment should be done monthly. Now, this benefit is available in case of GSTR 1 and 3B to the small taxpayer who are having an annual aggregate turnover in the preceding financial year of 5 crore. Yes, 5 crore turnover. If there is the turnover, pen based turnover, then you can file the GSTR 1 and 3B opting for QRMP scheme, where the return will be quarterly, but payment should be done monthly. Now, in this case, there is one thing, invoice furnishing facility. Now, sir, what is this invoice furnishing facility? Now, in the case of invoice furnishing facility, say it may happen. Say for example, the supplier opted for QRMP scheme, but the recipient has not opted. But the recipient to our GSTR to be should be generated monthly so that he can have the credit because he is filing the return monthly. But what if the supplier is filing quarterly? Now there will be a mismatch. When the supplier is not generated GSTR1, how the 2B will be generated and how the recipient is going to have the credit? So for that problem, one solution we have we have one solution, that is IFF, invoice furnishing facility. We have IFF. Now, though you are filing the return monthly, no, though you are filing the return quarterly, you have to furnish IFF monthly. Just give us the details of your invoice. On this details, we'll generate the 2B and the recipient can have the credit. Yes, if he is filing the return monthly. Though you are filing the return quarterly, you have to furnish the invoice monthly. And we are going to generate the 2P accordingly on the basis of that invoice. Now there is a due date also. You have to generate the invoice. You have to furnish the IFF from the first day to the 13th day of the succeeding month of the quarter. And this you have to do only for the first 2 months of the quarter. So when we are talking about April, May and June, you have to do this for April and May. For April, the due date will be from 1st May to 13th May. And for May, the due date will be from 1st June to 13th June. And for the month of June, the GSTR return is going to be furnished in the July month itself. Yes. So for the first 2 months, this requirement of IFF is there. You have to file IFF for the first 2 months and the due dates is in front of you. So what if we will not file the return? Then fee will be applicable. Late fee will be applicable. And sir, what will be the late fee? It will be 100 rupees per day or 5,000, whichever is lower. Yes. Now, coming towards the method for QRMP scheme, either fixed sum method or self-assessment method. First of all, self-assessment method is very easy. Self-assessment means you assess your tax yourself for the first 2 months. Yes, and pay the tax accordingly. Because it is filing the return quarterly, but payment should be done monthly. But first month, second month, and for the third month, quarter will be there. Yes, your return will go quarterly. So the third month, your return will go. But what about the first month and the second month? You have to approximately calculate the tax and pay it. So you can use the self-assessment method also or fixed sum method also. If you use the self-assessment method, so in that case, you have to assess your tax yourself and pay the tax accordingly. And whatever will be the balance, you can pay in the quarterly return itself. Now, so fix a method. If the last month, just the last month, you are opted for monthly scheme and you paid the tax last month. So what you are going to do for the first 2 months, take the amount of the tax that you have paid in the last month. Yes. Or what if we were following the quarterly region? Yes, scheme. We are following the quarterly scheme. If we are following the quarterly scheme, then 35% of the tax paid in such a quarter, 35% of the tax paid in such quarter, you are going to calculate the amount according to applying this 35% of the amount you paid in the last quarter, and accordingly you are going to apply that amount for the first 2 months of the quarter. So this will be the fixed sum method and self-assessment method. Now the last topic, GST practitioner. Now, the businessman is very busy with his business and he does not know about GST so much. Sir, what is the return and what details are to be furnished? So they appoint a GST practitioner who is going to look out after each and every compliance under the GST. He is going to furnish the details of the returns on behalf of that businessman, that registered person. So registered person is going to appoint a particular person who is going to fulfill all the requirements of the GST, and that person is none other than GSTP, means GST practitioner. Now for GST practitioner, this condition should be satisfied. Number one, either he is a retired officer of any commercial tax department or any state or central government and CBIC, and he is having an experience of more than or equal to 2 years, or he was a sales tax practitioner or tax return preparer in some another tax acts, say CBDT or earlier indirect tax laws. He was the sales tax practitioner or tax return preparer and having an experience of more than 5 years in that particular act, registered in that particular act. Now, according to qualifications, see, if we are talking about qualifications, who are eligible for GSTP? First one, graduate person or postgraduate person, either in law, either in commerce, either in banking, either in say business administration, like this. Yes, they can apply for GSTP if they have got their degree from any Indian university. Yes. Next, who is the person eligible for GSTP? Any person who has completed the final examination and received the degree from Indian Institute of Chartered Accountant, ICAI, Institute of Chartered Accountant of India, yes, or ICSI, Institute of Company Secretary of India, or Institute of Cost Accountants of India. You have received your degree from this institution, then you can apply for GSTP. Yes. Now, what are the works of GSTP? He can furnish the return. He can apply for registration on behalf of that person. He can apply for cancellation for amendment on the basis of that registered person. He can apply for composition scheme. He can take withdrawal of composition scheme on behalf of that person if authorized by that person. He can file or furnish the returns on behalf of that person if authorized by that person. Yes, he can put a claim for refund on behalf of that person if authorized by that person. He can generate e-way bill on behalf of that person. Yes, he can generate the challan also. He can put money, credit money in the electronic cash ledger also on behalf of that person, like this, on the authorization given by that person. This is the work of GSTP. And how is the process of GSTP enrollment? First of all, check that you are eligible. Once you are eligible, fill the form. Once the form is filled up, now you have to apply for the examination. You have to give the examination of GSTP. Once you clear the examination, then you will be GST practitioner. You will get an enrollment number and you will get a certificate of GST practitioner. Then you can do the work of GSTP. And this is how we have completed our rapid revision route, the last topic. So how was the journey in this rapid revision route? You have enjoyed or not? Please do comment and tell us that you have enjoyed the rapid revision route, and subscribe the channel so that we can notify you for further videos. Yes, more videos are coming before your examination, like how to solve the paper, what things you should put in mind before solving any question, how should you present the paper. We are going to solve together many questions related with your paper. So these things you will get notified if you subscribe the channel. Yes, so meet you in the next video. Up till that, bye bye to all of you. Hello students, I am here in front of you with a good announcement of our upcoming batches. We are launching our CA Inter Taxation Regular batch from 21st of September and CA Foundation All Subject batch from 25th of September, that too in 100% English language and at a very shocking price. Do you want to know that shocking price? Do you want to know the details of that batch? You can contact on the given number and WhatsApp on the given number. Up till that, bye bye to all of you.